Hey, this is Don. Let's see, woke up this morning, and as usual, I don't know what special days are here or not. I'm usually so busy either working or trying to get stuff done or bills paid or that kind of thing, or maybe do something for the channel here or whatnot. I just don't have, Christmas can come up, Thanksgiving, Father's Day, Mother's Day, birthdays, Valentine's, all these special days that the world has, and they just sneak up on me. So I realized this morning, Mother's Day, and there were 2 days that I would show up for church, and like I say, I never realized what days were which days because I was too busy working. And so I would show up at a local church, and lo and behold, I'd be like, oh, why didn't I just stay home? And those 2 days were Father's Day and Mother's Day, because those 2 days, Jesus Christ was told, hey, buddy, go sit out in the parking lot. We don't have time for you today. We're gonna focus on the flesh. We're going to focus on people, and we're going to focus on any of the men who, married or not, got a woman pregnant and she had the baby, or a woman, married or not, who got herself knocked up and kept the kids. And I even remember I was in one church where this one girl, she just couldn't stop fornicating, and there was like 4 different fathers, 3 or 4, something like that. And it's funny, she had no qualms about getting into bed with some guy and getting knocked up, but then all of a sudden she had qualms about whether or not to keep the baby, or one way or another. It's like, okay, I guess you pick and choose where your convictions are at. And obviously she was strongly anti-abortion, even though she didn't think anything about fornication. So in that particular case, I remember 2 years where, they would have all of the mothers come up in front of the church. They'd either have at these churches, they'd either have the fathers come stand up in front of the church, very typical, or the mothers, in order to glorify flesh. And again, Jesus Christ was told to go sit in the parking lot during this. And I remember this particular young lady, using the term loosely, she got up in front of the church, and, she had, I know at that time, 3 illegitimate bastard children with no father. And she was celebrated along with the others as a mother. Golf clap, you got yourself knocked up 3 times. You're a mother, and we're gonna give you time on Sunday morning up in front of the church as the epicenter of our focus, because you got knocked up. This is not something that should be taking place in a church. You go to church, your focus should be on Jesus Christ, salvation, the King James Bible, the second coming of Christ, those sorts of things, doctrine, singing praises to the Lord. You're not to take flesh and put it up in front of the church and parade it around and praise it. There's just no point in that. A little bit of, let me give you some history on Mother's Day. Mother's Day, known as a holiday, so it's known as a holy day, in honor of mothers, that is celebrated in countries throughout the, get the next word, world. This is something the world celebrates. Why are we bringing this into the church? Have you ever questioned these things? Or do you just wait till some jerk like Don Nesbitt brings it up? That was normally the case in these churches. I was considered the jerk because I was like, hey, Why are we parading these people around in front of the church, and then afterwards we get a sermon on the mothers? What is this? The Church of the Mothers? I came here on Sunday morning, and this is what I'm getting. Anyways, this is celebrated by the world, literally. In its modern form, the holy day, originated in the United States, where it is observed on the second Sunday in May. Of course, it's observed on Sunday. That's when you worship, right? So if you're going to worship women, and you're going to worship women that got pregnant, let's do it on a Sunday. Good idea. Let's push God aside on that day. Many other countries also celebrate the holy day on this date, while some mark the observance at other times of the year. During the Middle Ages, don't you know? Who was in charge during the Middle Ages? Should call them the Dark Ages. During the Dark Ages, the custom developed of allowing those who had moved away to visit their home parishes. You know what a parish is? It's Roman Catholic. To visit their home parishes and their mothers on Laetare Sunday, Laetare Sunday. This is a Catholic holiday. So it really wasn't started, it didn't have its origin in the United States. This actually began during the Dark Ages and had Catholic origins. I'll read this again. The custom developed of allowing those who had moved away to visit their home parishes and their mothers on Laetare Day, the fourth Sunday of Lent, Roman Catholic. This became Mothering Sunday in Britain. Mothering Sunday in Britain. No doubt this had some connection with Mary. So Mothering Sunday in Britain, where it continued into modern times, although it has been largely replaced by Mother's Day. Well, you change the name. It's the same thing. Mother's Day is celebrated on Sunday. You ever ask yourself questions? Why would it be celebrated on Sunday? Does that ring any bells to you? Does that set off any lights in your head? You have a light bulb hovering above your head. Why would they do this on Sunday? Who should have the focus on Sunday? What should the focus be on Sunday? Mother's Day is celebrated on Sunday. Now, who started this in 1907? It's always a woman. You notice that? It's always some big-mouth woman who thinks that she needs to run everything and she needs to tell everybody, this is the direction we need to go, and you just all need to follow me because I know what I'm doing. Anna Jarvis. It's always funny how it's some irritating name like that. Anna Jarvis of Philadelphia, whose mother had organized women's groups, don't you know, to promote friendship and health. Now, my note here, I don't think that, I doubt that it was just about promoting friendship and health. That's how these things start, right? Well, we're just going to promote friendship and health. We're not going to get into politics. We're not going to get into trying to run the country through our little group as we get our numbers built up. No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to promote friendship and health. Or at least that's what we'll tell everyone so that we don't run into trouble with the men in the country. So Anna Jarvis of Philadelphia, whose mother had organized women's groups, like mother, like daughter, to promote friendship and health, originated Mother's Day on May, the fifth month of the year, on May 12th, 1907. She held a memorial service at her late mother's church. What was she doing holding a memorial service at the church? Huh. But she held a memorial service at her mother's church in Grafton, West Virginia. Within 5 years, virtually every state was observing the day. They're following a woman. And in 1914, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson made it a national holiday. Well, of course he did. You know who Woodrow Wilson was? The Democrat. The Democrat who led us into World War I in 1917. The leading architect for the League of Nations. Known as a spokesman for progressivism. That Woodrow Wilson? Yeah, that Woodrow Wilson made it a national holiday. Although Jarvis had promoted the wearing of a white carnation as a tribute to one's mother, the custom developed of wearing a red or pink carnation to represent a living mother, or a white carnation for a mother who was deceased. Over time, the day was expanded to include others, such as grandmothers and aunts, basically worshiping all women. I wonder what that's connected with. Who played mothering roles. What had originally been primarily a day of honor became associated with the sending of cards and the giving of gifts. Of course, it became monetized. The love of money, it turned into commercialism, of course. However, and in protest against its commercialization, Jarvis spent the last years of her life trying to abolish the holiday she had brought into being. It's always a woman. It's always some woman bringing this stuff into being. It's usually some big mouth woman who's leading all of the men, who's leading all of the whole country or the whole world in some direction that she thinks we should go in. You doubt this? See Hillary Clinton. See Hillary Clinton. How long has she been doing it? See Nancy Pelosi. You talk about a big mouth woman trying to run everything. How about AOC? Or the Squad? How about Ellen G. White, who started Seventh-day Adventism? How about Mary Baker Eddy, Church of Christ Scientists? How about the women's suffrage movement, which was one of the greatest debacles that destroyed voting, destroyed democracy, and pretty much destroyed the country? Women's suffrage was started by Elizabeth Cady. I told you, irritating names. Started by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and good old Susan B. Anthony, the coin that failed. Women's suffrage. In other words, we have a voice. We have a big mouth, and we tend to use it, and we tend to use it to push down you men and whatever you men have to say, because you're not running things. We are. It's rebellion. It's witchcraft. Or how about Rosa Parks? Civil rights movement? That was Rosa Parks, another rebel, another big mouth. Oh, Don Nesbitt. Yeah. Wait till you meet Jesus Christ. Wait till you meet Jesus Christ. You think I'm rough. You think I'm unsavory. So festivals honoring mothers and mother goddesses. I told you there was something there about Mary. Festivals honoring mothers and mother goddesses date to ancient times. The Phrygians held a festival for Cybele, the great mother of the gods, as did the Greeks for the goddess Rhea. Likewise, the Romans, adapted the practice to their own pantheon. Some countries have continued to observe ancient festivals, for example, Durga Puja, honoring the goddess Durga, remains in important festivals in India. All right, so this is a worldwide thing, honoring honoring mother goddesses. Now, I was looking at in Revelation, where Jesus Christ is talking to the churches. Remember, I started this out talking to churches. And there's something interesting I saw in Revelation 2, starting verse 20. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee. He's writing to a church. Because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel. So they had a problem with a woman in the church. And this woman was taking a leadership position. She was opening her mouth, and she was pretty much running the show. Thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, which calleth herself a prophetess. A prophetess. You know what a prophetess does? She uses her mouth. And she uses her mouth to say, God is leading me, and here's what God said, and here's the direction we need to go because God spoke to me. It's a prophetess. To what? To teach. Like I said, she's using her mouth, and she's trying to lead the church through teaching. Calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication. It's associated with birth, with mothering, being a mother, and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. It's connected with idolatry. Remember how this thing is connected with the Roman Catholic Church, which is idolatry. It's connected with idolatrous practices, different goddesses. Verse 21. And I gave her, this is a woman issue, I gave her space to repent of her fornication. Again, connected with birth. And she repented not. Verse 22. Behold, I will cast her into a bed. Again, that's how you get babies. That's how you become a mother. I will cast her into a bed, and them that commit adultery. Once again, and her into great tribulation, except they repent of their deeds. Verse 23, and I will kill her children. So she is a mother. This is connected with fornication and a woman running the show, a woman using her mouth to run the church, and she has children. She's a mother. Verse 23, and I will kill her children with death. That's how God is celebrating the Mother's Day. He said, I'm going to kill her children. I'm going to kill her children with death. And all the churches shall know that I am he which searcheth the reins and hearts, and I will give unto every one of you according to your works. So you got these works going on in your church? God's gonna try that. God's gonna judge that. And I just found verse 20 through 23, when you look at the wording and you look at the association of what's going on there, and it's in the church, and it was tearing up the church, and it was screwing up the church. I don't know. I think maybe you ought to prayerfully read Revelation chapter 2, verses 20 through 23, and just sort of, ask the Lord, well, what is it you have to show me here concerning my local church and Mother's Day? Is there something there? I don't know. I think there is. But this, I didn't put a lot of work into this, but I found Father's Day after Father's Day after Father's Day, Mother's Day after Mother's Day after Mother's Day. Nobody would speak up. Nobody would say, is this right? Is this something we should consider? Is there anything in the Bible that might show that this is something we shouldn't be messing with? Is this the right focus on Sunday morning? What's the history behind this thing? What's it associated with? Is this something that the world celebrates? Is the church to be doing this then if the world is doing it? So I just wanted to give this to you that maybe you could think about this. Maybe you could consider it. And maybe you wouldn't follow the rest into a ditch. All right.